Hi, I'm Maluka Solaris and welcome to my channel. As you can see, my channel is brand new and I made my channel mostly to share what I know about character design, how it ties to Genshin lore, and also to analyze Genshin videos and lore and make theories and speculations out of it. Before we start, I would like to put up a disclaimer first. As this is a video essay, some parts of my research may be opinionated as I'm not an expert in Genshin lore, and I mostly will put out info that I know, and there's a possibility that my knowledge is limited. I'll try my best to dive deep down in researching, but if you find my information lacking, I hope you find it in your hearts to forgive what I missed. Please, by all means, do not take my video as a fact, but rather take it as a starting point to form your own opinions around it, and you just might find a new perspective different from mine by doing so. I really love learning about other people's perspective as long as it's within reason. So if you have another take for what I'm about to share, then please share it in the comments below. I love to hear from you. With the release of 3.1 version in just a few hours, I wanted to make my own theories about Dottore and his position in the Harbinger seat. Without further ado, let's start the video by analyzing the recent hottest Genshin preview, A Winter Night's Lazo. That preview is so important because this is the first sneak peek of what we could expect to learn about the Harbingers. And would you believe me if I told you that those 4 minutes of the video gave us so many hints already? Today's focus is Dottore, and why I think he's the second Harbinger. Wise Doctor's opinion. I know many of you are already familiar with the lore behind Pale Flame, but I'll read it again for the new players. In this artifact, we know it was Piero who found Dottore, and I quote, "Following a trail of rumors of heresy, the first of the Fatui tracked him down." We can actually tell that he's the second Harbinger just by analyzing the conversation between the two. Merely an enhanced human? If your great nation can furnish me with sufficient resources and allow ample time, I could manufacture even that which you would call a god. What say you? We know that this is Piero speaking because in another Pale Flame set, specifically the Flower of Life, Piero asked La Signora in the same way, quote, "Let the flames that now devour you be extinguished by the grace of Her Majesty. What say you?" Now, going back to what he told Dottore in Wise Doctor's opinion, he says, "If your great nation can furnish me with sufficient resources and allow ample time, I can manufacture even that which you would call a god." We speculate Dottore was the one who made delusions, a power similar to a god. Since Dottore got kicked from Academia when he answered Piero, "Will you treat me like the Academia did? Will you call me a monster, a madman?" There could have no way that Sumeru is the nation they're talking about. Sumeru would never fund his research. So, which region are they talking about? Continuing Dottore's line, he says, and I quote, "Will you treat me as my hometown did and chase me away with pitchforks and clubs?" I can only come to the conclusion that Dottore is in fact Snezhnayan, since Piero said, "Your great nation." Still with me? My theory is that Piero and Dottore made the Fatui that we know today, and they proposed it to the Tsaritsa, who funded them and made what we know as Fatui, their soldiers that sport masks and bandages such as the skirmishers and the Zisin mages. As the second Harbinger, I'm fairly confident that Dottore and Piero built the entire military power we know as Fatuis right now. Now, I know some speculate Dottore as being from Sumeru with the release of Xanthic's lore. However, even if Sumeru turned out to be the one who funded Dottore's research in humans by pulling some strings, my theory would not change about how it was Piero and Dottore who founded the current Fatui we know of, including, yes, the 11 Harbingers. How do we know that? Let's go to the next line. Piero tells this to Dottore. Good, then we are now in partnership. As for the matter of your title, what do you say to this? Taken completely by surprise by the sheer irony of the title he was given, the young man bursts into hysterical laughter. So here we are witnessing the moment when Piero and Dottore established the first two positions of the Harbingers. We already know that Harbingers are ranked by strength, not necessarily physically, but by their influence. As someone who literally made the military power they have now by experimenting on humans, Dottore is the rightful owner of that spot. Of course, this is just an educated guess for now, as my only source for my theories is an artifact lore and reading between its lines. You can't deny the fact that Piero was called quite literally the first of the Fatui, and I'd like to interpret it as literally him being the only one so far at that time, being the first member of the Fatui, not just the Harbingers, until he found Dottore, which he knows will become a key player for his plans. Going back to Winter Night's Lazo, although this being a proof is a little far-fetched, I would like to direct everyone's attention to the way everyone is positioned in front of La Signora's casket. Sure, it may not have been facing a banquet table, but the seating positions remain the same. Now, I didn't find many pictures for this one, but I believe that they were placed according to dining etiquette. Something from the Victorian era? Let me explain. In this photo of the Harbingers gathered, Piero seemed to be the gentleman of the highest rank of this gathering, as we can assume their queen, the Tsaritsa, is in front of Piero, the point of view we are seeing right now. Thus, she is our main host. Comparing the two images, let's start on the left side of the seat, since we already know that Columbina is the third Harbinger, according to Child's voice line. As you can see, the seats alternate from lady and gentleman, thus the letter L and G, and you can see from the arrow that the course meal starts from the third lady in attendance. That's where Columbina is, and she's the third Harbinger. Next is the fifth gentleman, and I feel that this is quite literally too, since that's where Pulcinella is, the fifth Harbinger. What about the fifth lady? Comparing this to the right side of the seat, let's take it as the lady in attendance with the lowest rank so far, assuming the marionette Sandrone is a lady. This is where we start to guess that as the lady with the lowest rank, she may be our 10th Harbinger. And lastly, we have the fourth gentleman, and because we've established in our theory that Dottore might be the second Harbinger, all that's left is for Capitana to take the fourth seat for the Harbingers, which I might discuss in detail in a separate video, so be sure to like this video and subscribe for more videos like this. Now to the right part of the seat, we'll have to take liberties, especially since the ratio of men to women isn't balanced for the Harbingers. We could say that the Lady of Honor, a status only second to the gentleman of the highest rank, where Piero is positioned, is where Dottore sits, because a Lady of the Honor is only slightly lower in rank than the gentleman of highest rank. But the rank is high enough to be seated beside the Tsaritsa, assuming that Tsaritsa is in the host's position. At this point, it doesn't really matter where Child and Pantalone sits, since we already know their rank, with Pantalone being revealed to be the 9th Harbinger in Yelan's story quest. All that's left from the revealed seats, with Signora in 8th and Scaramouche in 6th, and with our crazy deductions earlier, then Arlecchino should be the 7th, as per etiquette, as someone who has a low rank, but not the lowest among the ladies. And there you have it. My theory is built entirely out of the old dining etiquette, because I believe that the Harbingers weren't just placed randomly in that shot in a Winter Night's Lazo. This will also explain why Child can speak lightly about Sandrone not liking him, because they were close in rank, assuming that my theory is right. Phew, that was a workout! But you didn't think I'd stop there, do you? We already know Dottore makes segments of himself, or in simpler terms, a clone, from Child's voice lines. Most fan misconception is that the Dottore we are seeing in the Winter Night's Lazo preview isn't the original Dottore, but that isn't the case. I can boldly claim that this is in fact the original Dottore, and the proof? Well, It will be explained in the next video. I plan on making more videos just theorizing Genshin stuff I find interesting. Mostly about the Harbingers. I even have a theory how Dottore can look and sound so young, and why his segment sounds like an old man. Since I made this video late, I'd be pretty bummed out if my theory gets confirmed in the release of Sumeru 3.1, because then I can't make my video about it. Or maybe I'll make the video anyways, who knows. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, follow my social media for updates, and I'll see you lovely merfolks next time. Bye!